texted me one afternoon out of nowhere. "I'm leaving you," it said. "Moving to Miami with my 20-year-old babe. I've already emptied our joint account, haha." I stared at the screen for a long minute, feeling my chest tighten. The man I'd spent 12 years with, the one I'd built a life and a home around, had just ended it all in a single text. No call, no explanation, no face-to-face goodbye. Just a text, like throwing trash out the window. For a moment, I thought it was a cruel joke. Then I checked the bank app. The joint account balance read 0. It felt like someone had punched through my ribs. My hands shook, my vision blurred, but after a few breaths, something inside me turned cold and still. I typed 2 words back: "Good luck." He had no idea those were the calmest, most dangerous words I'd ever said. We had built everything together. The house, the savings, even the small real estate company that technically had both our names on it. What he didn't realize was that I had quietly transferred ownership paperwork into my name a few months back when I noticed how secretive he'd become about his spending. His affair hadn't started suddenly, I'd seen the signs. Late night, business meetings, a new gym membership, cologne he never wore before, and that smug little smile when he texted. I knew something was off. So I'd been preparing, quietly, carefully, like someone stacking sandbags before a flood. When that text came, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I made tea. Then I opened my laptop. Every joint investment, every property, every asset we shared, all documented, all traceable. He'd drained the checking account, but the real money was in places he didn't even remember existed. Savings bonds, equity from 2 rental homes, the business account under the company name that only I managed. I stayed up until dawn shifting everything legally, locking access, securing passwords, and calling my lawyer. He thought he'd gotten away clean. He thought he was the clever one. The irony made me smile. The next morning, I went to work as if nothing happened. My assistant asked if I was okay, apparently I looked too calm. Inside, I was a storm, but it was a focused one. That night, I drafted a simple message for my husband, or rather, my soon-to-be ex: "I hope Miami treats you well." No anger, no guilt, no explanation. Silence is often louder than screaming. A week later, his name appeared on my phone again. This time it wasn't a message. It was a dozen missed calls. I ignored them all. The next day came the texts. "Hey, what did you do? Why can't I access the company account? Why is my credit card frozen? Are you serious right now?" Each one sweeter than the last. He was unraveling. His babe probably hadn't signed up for a broke man. I pictured them in some cheap Miami Airbnb, him pacing with his phone pressed to his ear, sweat on his forehead as he realized the money he thought he'd stolen wasn't there. That he'd only taken the crumbs. It got better. A few days later, my lawyer confirmed that the divorce would move forward swiftly, and that, thanks to his impulsive message and the clear evidence of infidelity, the court would have no sympathy for him. I didn't have to fight dirty, I just had to be smart. He'd done all the damage himself. When the official papers were sent, I included a note: "This could have been peaceful. You chose otherwise." He'd underestimated me for years, treating me like the quiet wife who'd never dare challenge him. I used to believe that too. Funny how betrayal can teach you what you're truly capable of. Months passed. The divorce finalized in my favor. He lost claim to every major asset. The company was fully mine. The house stayed with me. Even the car he drove had technically been under the business. When the final settlement came through, he texted again, not to apologize but to beg. "Can we talk?" he wrote. I could almost smell the desperation through the screen. I didn't respond. Instead, I blocked his number and went for a walk. The evening air felt clean, lighter than it had in years. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't sad. I was free. Later, I heard through a mutual friend that his new relationship had crashed within a month. The babe had found someone else with actual money, and he'd been left couch surfing in Miami. Karma doesn't need help, it just needs time. I thought about sending him one last message, something witty, something like, "Enjoy the sunshine." But no, true revenge doesn't require words. Silence, success, and peace are louder than any insult. 1 year later, my business was thriving. I expanded it into 2 more cities. I'd found happiness in places I never thought I would, in quiet mornings, in my own company, in knowing I'd survived something meant to destroy me. People often think revenge means hurting the person who hurt you. But real revenge is making sure they can never hurt you again. It's showing them that their betrayal was just the beginning of your power. Sometimes I still think about the moment the text came in. How he thought he was winning. How he thought I'd crumble. I remember smiling, knowing he'd already lost. If he'd looked closely, he would have seen it in my calm reply. Those two little words, good luck, weren't a goodbye. They were a warning. He just didn't listen. If you've ever been betrayed, remember this, revenge doesn't always need anger. Sometimes it just needs silence, intelligence, and a little patience. Karma takes care of the rest. And when it finally does, it's always worth the wait.